and welcome to a breakdown of a music video that I shot on precisely 0 to minus budget. I'm going to break this video down into a few steps. So we're going to watch through the music video. We're going to look at the pre-production and sort of the inspiration behind the video. The production, so how I went about shooting it. And then the post-production, so like the editing processes. So let us head into it.
How can I keep with your pace? You change your mind every day. Do you wanna be with me? Is it all that you need? And naked and your words come true. You cannot force them to. Staring down the hills feels like gold. Even when you're falling on, I cannot defy your words. You California eyes look at me without remorse. Your fantasy on mine. Your pace, you change your mind every day. Do you wanna be with me? Is it all that you need? And naked and your words come true. You cannot force them to. Stand on the hills feels like gold. Even when you're falling. I cannot defy your words. You California eyes look at me without remorse. Your fantasy on mine. I cannot defy your words. You California eyes look at me without remorse. Your fantasy on mine.
This is basically where I get all of my ideas out of my head and put it onto the table. This is where I dream about my pyrotechnics, my Lamborghinis, my babes in bikinis, and then I realize like I have a Fiat 500 and a few cartons of milk and a bathtub. From this point in pre-production, what I do is I go into Figma. I basically ask questions like, what is the story and theme? I create a mood board, so that's lots of photos and the feeling of it. I write down the mood in words. I have reference videos and the links going to them. Super important because I always lose that shit. The equipment and gear that we think we're going to shoot it on, and then the costume, and then of course the location or locations. So instead of making a storyboard and storyboarding everything out for this project, which would have taken like a lot of time, I basically made a shot list, and then I dragged in a picture from perhaps some inspiration or another music video, and then I wrote underneath it like the camera movement, the idea, or like the mood I wanted to capture for that specific shot. It's important to know that a lot of these ideas didn't end up happening or don't end up happening because you start to realize, wow, like, is this logistically possible? Can I actually achieve this with the one-man team that I am? But it's super important for me at least to just put those ideas out there just to know, hey, like, is this a possibility for this type of project? So the research for this project took like a long time, just trying to find the ideas and trying to find the sort of frames and other videos. What I've created is in Figma is just a huge archive of like other people's campaigns, other people's work, where I can just go back to and draw from when I need inspiration, or I'm trying to look for a specific screenshot that I think, oh yeah, this is what I want to happen in this shoot. So having that there already, building up constantly, is just a great resource to have. As I had access to precisely no budget for this video, I made sure that the locations we went to had something like interesting about them, whether that was the light, whether that was the location itself. I knew I wanted to shoot this project in front of like wind turbines. I don't know why. I think I was inspired a long time ago when I first moved to Germany and to Berlin by these wind turbines that were about in the countryside. I also really needed to shoot this like in good light, so I researched like the weather and like when the days would be good, which is pretty rare in Berlin to get like good sun, but when it did come, we got beautiful like shadows and beautiful light. So that was the main thing for me, is to make sure we had shot on a beautiful and good day. So production. The first location was, well, Berlin. I had to shoot a load of footage of Berlin and around Berlin because I was going to project that onto the projector when Noah would be standing in front of it. So I needed to collect that first. The second location was in my apartment and in the attic, which was like perfect. And then the third location was the forest, an hour away from here, and the wind turbines next to the forest. So let's talk technique and things that I did to make shit look pretty. One thing I knew for sure was that this song needed to have a slow sort of vibe to it. And so what I did was I got Noah to do a take at 1.5 speeds. When he was singing it faster, it meant that in post-production, I was able to slow the video down to 66.8%, which is like the sweet spot for getting this fast clip to look like it's normal. The other thing that I knew I wanted in this film was like this blurry, dreamy effect, and this can be achieved like super easily. All you need to do is crank down the shutter speed to like 1/6 and then use an ND filter to reduce the amount of light that comes into the lens. And then you just move your camera about and shit. I also chose to shoot at the right time. It sounds a bit stupid, but like, it really is super important if you're like a one-person band. I knew I wanted this sort of dark, deep blue look, and I knew I wanted this like warm, glowy sort of sundown vibe in the forest, so I made sure that I shot Noah in the forest at those times of the day to give me that sort of aesthetic and that sort of look. I also just shot this whole project with one light, which is really, really cool because it was super light and easy to carry around. Yeah, and I just used it with a red color gel and used the color gel when I needed that sort of highlight or some depth to the shot, and I just experimented with it. And then I also used like another color gel, like a green, because I knew I wanted Noah to look like f***ed up in this one shot. Anyways, camera B, this Canon camera, and it really gave me this like long ass zoom effect that I really love because it just like, for me it's very nostalgic. Like I used to have probably this camera, something similar when I was younger, and just like zoom in on like whatever I was filming. It gave this dreamy sort of nostalgic feel. Post-production. There's just a few things that I always use that kind of help me add a bit of diversity to my, my shots. A personal favorite is just making many Noahs. Like making lots of the people, and by making multiple layers of this person and adjusting the scale and the opacity of the clip so that they're slightly different, and then using like the slip tool to just move each clip to a different moment. Like I did that a few times in this video. The effect number 2 I kept down the same speed and just slowed the wind turbines down so it was slightly edgy. To do this, basically what I did is I duplicated the clip, masked out the wind turbine, added a small feather around the wind turbine, slowed down the clip to 5%, turned the clip to optical flow so that it would be super slow and smooth. And then I nested the two clips so that I could add a small artificial zoom with keyframes to both of the clips at the same time. And then for the color grade and the aesthetic of it, I knew I wanted to make it feel very filmy and grainy and a bit rough. And so I added some film grain and then added some red halation as they call it, which is a phenomena that happens when you shoot on film. Basically like the outsides and like sort of the highlights of subjects and objects become slightly red. And then yeah, I used just like a ton of like these film burns and how do you call them? Light leaks to like sort of break up shots and how they were. And yeah, apart from that, that's what happened in post-production. We have that middle section where I add a bit of sound design. Break it up a little bit, make it seem like it's a different world environment. And yeah, that's basically the breakdown of this video. Thank you very much for your time, human beings, aliens, people. Have a lovely day, and I'll hopefully see you again soon. Peace.